Welcome back to OTR. It's time for our pre-Thanksgiving roundtable. And I always wonder, is this the Thanksgiving weekend or is next weekend after Thanksgiving the Thanksgiving weekend?
Both.
Both. Okay, well, there we go. It's both. Joining us this morning are Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh, Republican political analyst Rob Drake. Guys, let's start with Phil Eng. Marianne, what are you buying what he's selling?
My money's on Phil Eng. I mean, look what he's done just in 7 months. And let's put some context to this. Bill Weld, who was governor back in 1990, he was recently in the Globe espousing the wonders of the commuter rail from Canton that he takes every day to work. Imagine if he had done any of this when he was governor. Then, just the other day, Michael Dukakis was interviewed and asked what was wrong with the T. And he's like, I think you need to ask Charlie Baker. So there's your 33 years right there. So he's been on the job 7 months. He's got a plan. He clearly can pull it off. We're all rooting for him. It is a big ticket item, but as our parents always said, when there's a little problem, fix it when it's small, because it costs more if you wait.
Well, I could say ask Deval Patrick, but
he's in there too.
But I'm not going to say it because transportation shouldn't be a partisan issue. It's a bipartisan thing. Right. And let's face it, governors in both parties have failed. I think before Phil Eng, there was a string of general managers appointed by Republican and Democratic governors who were underqualified or unqualified and did a bad job. So I think I'm hoping and I'm thinking that he's on the right track. He's a train guy. He knows how to manage trains. We haven't had that for a long time at the T.
I just need to remind my friend Rob that from 1990 until now, there was only one Democratic governor that whole time, and that was Deval Patrick. So yes, they're all guilty.
For 8 years,
but there
right
was,
in the middle.
But plenty of Republican
But
governors.
I think we're on the right track now. And does anybody doubt that there's $25 billion that needs to be spent rather than the $10 billion that it's a shocking number, but
it is half the state.
If you go on the T, you don't
budget,
doubt it.
less.
You go on the T, you look around, you look at the problems they have with the train car purchases, and you go.
All right.
Well, just in the framing that Sharman talked about, yes, it's half the state budget, and it's also what the big dig was $15 billion. Even if you adjust for inflation, it's still less than this $25 billion.
This is 30 plus years of neglect. What did anyone expect was going to happen?
Yeah, it's not going to be fixed in 30 days, right?
Well, even the Democratic supermajorities in the House and Senate on Beacon Hill couldn't agree on funding for emergency shelters last week. It's up to a conference committee now to negotiate a deal, and that could take time. Meantime, migrant families are on a waiting list, and they don't have anywhere to spend the night. And even if the $250 million does come through, the governor's cap on families won't change. Now, on OTR, the governor said she hoped migrant families wouldn't find themselves trying to stay at places like Logan Airport, but in fact, that's exactly what we saw last week. So how could Democrats not get this over the finish line, Rob?
Well, first of all, I'm going to give the local Democrats a break because this is Joe Biden's migrant crisis because of the porous border. Elected Democrats in Massachusetts should be saying that more. They're not. They bear some responsibility because they should be changing the right to shelter law in this state. It's way too expansive. Our state has become a magnet for migrants. It's happening all over the country, but it's worse here.
Marianne.
The Massachusetts legislature is now in the very same position that the United States Senate is in. It can be held hostage by one Republican. And in this case, that Republican might be a guy named Peter Durant, who is currently a state representative, just got elected to state senator, going to get sworn in, and he flipped a Democratic state post in a special election and won on this very issue.
And held hostage, you mean, because of
But they failed on their own. Now
it's
informal session, and a Republican could hold it up.
That's why one Republican
can
hold it
hasn't.
up. And because they haven't started the informal session yet. But I digress, because Durant said in the Globe this week, and others have said they'll be willing to do it. So the Democratic leadership of the House and the Senate put themselves in that position. That is not the position you want to be in. They should have gotten it done. I disagree a little bit more with Rob. We have to fund this. We have no choice. They didn't change the law. They were never going to change the law. The work permits, that is on the Biden administration, but you have to get the funding to get this problem
Everybody
solved.
should remember hundreds of millions of dollars in state funds are going to migrants instead of going to other programs for the disabled, whatever, pick your program, housing. You know,
it's not an either or
this
thing.
money is being diverted because
it's not an either or thing.
Next item, teacher strikes in Massachusetts. As you know, they are illegal, and they also seem to be highly effective. Andover teachers even rallied to the State House before reaching a deal on a new contract. Yes, fines were imposed, But the union didn't budge, and the school committee said that teacher cuts will be necessary to balance the budget. The teachers are confident the town residents will provide additional funding. Marianne, should they be?
Yes, and you've seen this across the state and across the nation for two reasons. One, teachers shouldn't have to have their Amazon wish list cleared, take money out of their pockets, or go on a GoFundMe page to get stuff done. And people in this state and this country still believe education's the best way up and out. And by the way, labor unions are having a big renaissance nationally. The auto workers, look what happened to them. SAG-AFTRA, go down the list. So they work. The strikes work, and workers end up better when they do them.
So, Rob, based on that, and it's clear, at least on the teachers' front, that they have been effective in many communities, will we be seeing more of it?
Well, unfortunately, I think you will until somebody at the State House gets a dose of courage and it increases the penalties. I mean, these strikes are illegal. Everybody loves teachers. I love teachers. Teachers' unions are a menace for students and the taxpayers.
All right. Whether the DNC likes it or not, the New Hampshire presidential primary, it's been scheduled. It's on. Mark your calendars for January 23rd. You won't find Joe Biden's name on the ballot. You'll have to write that in if you want to vote for him. Republicans, they're taking it seriously. If, again, the results don't really carry a whole lot of weight, will this first-in-the-nation tradition just fade away, Marianne?
No, I mean, New Hampshire is 4 electoral votes by itself. That could be the difference between keeping our democracy and losing it. Democrats can and have of late won New Hampshire routinely. They are never going to, in a general election, we are never going to win South Carolina in my lifetime in the general election. So that's what matters here. I expect after this election cycle going into 2028, the entire calendar will be reviewed again. I expect New Hampshire to get reinstated because this was a Joe Biden issue, not a Democratic issue.
Rob?
It's showtime, Charmin. Get your snow boots out of your closet.
Right.
You're going to be headed north,
We'll be
probably on a daily basis.
I'm all ready.
No, we'll be
I'm
on the
all
roof.
ready.
We'll be on the roof of WMUR again, looking at the
We will be.
propane tanks
I've-
with Rookie and the lighter, like trying to
I've
blow
asked
us
you guys
up.
this question a million times. There's one general election. Why isn't there a national primary election? Enough of who's first, second, third, 10th.
Well, I mean, I kind of like it. And listen, Joe Biden, even though his name is not on the ballot, trust me, beneath the surface, they're going to be trying to win the write-in. They don't want Dean Phillips, the congressman from Minnesota,
That would be embarrassing.
who's challenging
The
Joe
optics would
Biden,
be,
who has
right.
a lot of money, to steal a primary, even one that's unsanctioned by the Democratic National Party. And why is it unsanctioned? Because they're playing to the ultra left-wing progressive elements of the party. That's why they've taken it away from New Hampshire.
No, Joe Biden's gotten beaten in New Hampshire, every time he's run since the 1980s.
Well, it's also too
That's
normal
why.
a state, so they don't want to play there.
They'll continue this right through the commercial, and it's fine. Still ahead, the biggest turkeys of 2023. Stay with us.